Dr. Jitendra. Thank you, Bansi. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Hardik and his whole team for this wonderful opportunity to speak at the Diabetes India, one of the most celebrated conferences of this century. The topic given to me is diabetes and erectile dysfunction. With prayers to God, and I express my wholehearted thanks and beseech my blessings to all my teachers, Dr. O.P. Kapoor, Dr. Prakash Kothari, and Dr. Shashank Joshi. When we think about erectile dysfunction, we must understand that it is nothing else but endothelial dysfunction. The endothelial cell of the penile vasculature produces endothelial nitric oxide synthetase, and the neuronal endothelium produces neuronal nitric oxide synthetase. These two enzymes potentiates the chemical signaling molecule nitric oxide to enter into the corpora cavernosa smooth muscle cell of the penis and converts guanosine triphosphate into cyclic guanosine monophosphate with the help of an enzyme called guanylyl cyclase. This cyclic GMP, through various mechanisms, relaxes the smooth muscle of the corpora cavernosa of the penis and allows the blood to flow in, and the penis becomes erect. But sadly, this cyclic GMP hydrolyzes into 5-GMP with the help of an enzyme called phosphodiesterase 5. So if you look at the etiology of erectile dysfunction, what it needs is, it needs a normal endothelium, which should produce endothelial nitric oxide synthetase, and the whole cascade of events follow. So if we want to give our patients good erection, we should see that he should have a normal endothelium, he should have enough nitric oxide, he should have guanylyl cyclase activators and stimulators, he should have cyclic GMP to be present in more bioavailable form, and he should have something to block this PDE5, which we have in the form of pharmacotherapy like sildenafil, tadalafil, udinafil, vardenafil, and now avanafil. When you look at erectile dysfunction, this symptom should be present at least for 6 months with clinically significant distress. Enough evidence to prove that endothelial derived nitric oxide, which is the chemical signaling molecule or the currency of the cell, is an anti-atherosclerotic and anti-thrombotic molecule. Friends, diabetes is a sexual health tsunami of our century. The prevalence is very much, it's more than 50% in diabetics, it is there. And the proposed mechanisms are multifold. It is normally elevated advanced glycated end products, increased level of oxygen-free radicals, impaired nitric oxide synthesis, and so on and so forth. It's more common in China and India. So I call it Chindia, or the diabetes capital of the world. We lose to China by something. So erectile dysfunction, which is one of the commonest complications of diabetes, Chindia, or the erectile dysfunction capital of the world. Both type 1 and type 2 diabetes are associated with increased risk of erectile dysfunction. In Massachusetts male aging study, diabetic men showed threefold probability of having erectile dysfunction when compared with non-diabetic. The etiology is, it could be psychogenic, vasculogenic, neurogenic, hormonogenic, drug-induced, and genetic. And they have found on SIM1 loci, there have been loci is associated with erectile dysfunction. They studied around 37,000 patients and found that there was a position in the chromosome which was responsible for significantly associated with the risk of erectile dysfunctions. Now, COVID has again been a new cause of erectile dysfunction. This was our abstract published in the American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists. And we know that psychosocial stress, endothelial dysfunction, pulmonary hemodynamism changes all lead to erectile dysfunctions. And the healthcare professionals who are normal are more affected. A beautiful study done of 131 individuals among healthcare professionals, they found that 80% of physicians, of which 51 were nurses, were significantly affected with erectile dysfunctions. So there has been definitely a great association of erectile dysfunction and COVID. So the rule is, you need to mask up to keep it up your period. So that's very important. Mask is the biggest and the safest vaccine today. Molecular basis of diabetes associated erectile dysfunction, there is a signaling pathway of calcium channel called Rho kinase, which is turned on. When this is turned on, there is vasoconstriction of the whole microvasculature of the penis. So in diabetics, it is not the inability to achieve erection, but it is the persistence of flaccid state which is more important. Another theory is that apoptosis, which means that in rats, they found there was decreased expression of anti-apoptosis gene BCL2 in the cavernosal tissue. This was responsible for the cellular hemostasis to be shifted to cell death and organ degeneration. How do we manage erectile dysfunction? Rule out organic and psychogenic. Psychogenic, you can rule out if the patient is young and gets morning erections, he does not need PDE5 inhibitors or does not need any treatment. He just needs counseling. He has psychogenic or situational ED. So that's how you rule out a psychogenic ED. And you assess erectile dysfunction by two beautiful questionnaires called IIEF and SHIM5. How do we manage it? We have a strategy called Framingham strategy. We advise on smoking, diet, exercise, hypertension to be brought under control, lipids, sugars, HbA1c to be less than 7. Eye, feet, and oral hygiene examination should be done every time when they come to you. Put them on guardian drugs like aspirin, ACE inhibitors, and statins, and work them up for heart and also give them certain drugs. Eye, feet, and oral hygiene to be checked every time when your patient comes to you. We can also give office sildenafil 50 milligram to the patient when he comes to the clinic and ask him to think erotic, wait in the clinic for an hour or so, and if he gets erection, it's psychogenic erection or it's psychogenic erectile dysfunction. Or we can give intracavernous vasoactive drugs like papaverine. Additional tests we do are serum testosterone, free total, sex hormone binding globulin, thyroid, FSH, LS, prolactin, sonography of the scrotum, Doppler studies, PSA free and total, digital rectal examination, and Regiscan. Salivary tumor necrosis factor alpha has been now a beautiful study to show the severity of erectile dysfunctions. There is a relationship between platelet and lymphocyte ratio. If the platelet and lymphocyte ratio is 104, this patient does not have erectile dysfunction. If it is more than 104, he's got mild. If it is more than 116, he's got moderate. If he's got more than 130, he's got severe erectile dysfunction. So just by looking at the CBC report and doing a mental calculation of platelet and lymphocyte, you can diagnose the severity of erectile dysfunction in a patient. For those doctors who are embarrassed to talk about sexual functions in their patients. The treatment is oral drugs, first line with counseling and lifestyle measures. Second line is injection of papaverine, vacuum therapy, intraurethral prostaglandins, counseling and lifestyle. And if all these fail, we send our patients to the surgeons, neurosurgeons to put implants or anastomotic surgery. But counseling and lifestyle measure form the mainstay of treatment for erectile dysfunctions. We have 4 PDE5 inhibitors, sildenafil, vardenafil, tadalafil, and udafil. And amongst all, the faster onset of action and shorter duration of action is of vardenafil, which minimizes the adverse effects compared to tadalafil, which has got a longer duration of effect. All have got side effects like flushing, headache, nasal congestion, dizziness, visual dysfunction, and they are contraindicated in patients who are taking nitrates or having recent cardiovascular events, hypotension, any anatomical defects or anything. Enough studies to prove that a low dose of tadalafil to 5 to 10 milligram in patients who are diabetics have been beautiful, irrespective of whatever be the HbA1c, even if he has got hypertension which is uncontrolled, even if he has got prostatic hypertrophy or even dyslipidemia. All these patients with 5 or 10 milligram of tadalafil showed greater improvement in the sexual function. The novel treatments include low intensity extracorporeal shock wave therapy and platelet-rich plasma. Though there is no robust evidence today, but they have been used, doctors have been using it, and they are showing promising results. But what we should understand, desire is the first and the foundation of a sexual response in male, and it depends upon the testosterone. And it's in all diabetics, testosterone is less. They are all hypogonad. So we need to understand, should we give patients consider it to be a symptom or consider it to be a disease? If we consider it to be a symptom, we need to give them pharmacotherapy because he wants erection. But if you consider it to be a disease, you need to see that we need to give him a cure, and which is possible only with regenerative medicine or phytonutraceuticals. The novel molecular targets which include are platelets, microparticles, and lots, amongst them stem cell therapy, gene cell therapy, and nanotherapy, nanoparticle therapy have been tried and have been successfully treated patients with erectile dysfunction and diabetes. Metformin has now been proven to improve the endothelial health in patients with erectile dysfunctions. Our beautiful study published SGLT2 inhibitors, because of their class effects, produce weight loss, control hyperglycemia, control dyslipidemia. It is also called a cardiac drug, useful for cardiology for patients who have ischemic heart disease. This, by its class effect, if combined with metformin, patients get physiological erections. They do not need PDE5 inhibitors. All they need is counseling. Buried penis syndrome can be treated with 1 gram of metformin, sesame seed oil, and L-arginine gel. This has been seen very common in diabetic patients, so we can give them this. Nutraceuticals, L-arginine modulates the glucose and lipid metabolism in obesity and diabetes, and anti-diabetic and hypocholesterolemic effects of fenugreek have been studied. So combination of L-arginine, fenugreek, zinc, and magnesium has been proven to be very good in patients, even if they are psychogenic or even mild erectile dysfunction, whom we do not want to give PDE5 inhibitors. Emerging tools of erectile dysfunctions, now we have stem cell therapy, which is being proved. They tried in diabetic impotence, umbilical cord blood stem cells, 7 diabetic men who failed medical therapy, and they injected 15 lakh umbilical cord stem cells in the corpus cavernous. 6 out of 7 men regained morning erections in just 3 months. And not only that, they improved in insulin resistance. Some landmark and path-breaking innovations are novel PDE5 inhibitors, which has been just launched in India, is Avanafil, available in the dose of 100 milligram, 200 milligram. The onset of action is just 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, and the half-life is just 5 hours. So it gets washed out from the body very soon, leaving no side effects for a longer time. The side effects are much less, which include less of myalgia, visual side effects, flushing, and can be also given to patients who are on nitrates, but with caution, because nitrates have a very short life, and they get out of the blood within half an hour to 1 or 2 hours. But once you skip nitrates on the day when you want to give him Avanafil, so you can have a good sex life. New studies showed that elevated pigment epithelium derived factor induced erectile dysfunction only in diabetes. So if this factor was blocked, the endothelial dysfunction improved, and hence erectile dysfunction will be cured. So this is the latest study, but we need a robust evidence still. But if this is proven, patients will have a cure for erectile dysfunction. Now let me give you the last part of my talk, a deeper perspective. 50% of mortality of non-communicable disease is due to cardiovascular disease. And we know that erectile dysfunction is the earliest marker of cardiovascular disease. And the risk burden, why cardiovascular disease mortality is more in India, is because of the behavioral issues, is because of sedentary lifestyle, use of tobacco, smoking, and low physical activity and heavy eating. So these are the risk factors. Prabhakaran beautifully studied, and he found that there has been reduction in smoking, BMIs, physical activity, lipids, blood pressure, and diabetes. But still, the cardiovascular deaths have been still rising and rising. The reason is, look at this block. We lack in the healthy diet score. So what we lack is healthy diet. What we should understand that our diet or the nutrition is very important to control our metabolic syndrome. Cleveland beautifully studied, Cleveland original research, they said that nutritional intervention in patients with metabolic syndrome not only halted the coronary artery disease, but even reversed the coronary arteries disease. Look at this perfusion scan. Such a big, it's cleared up. Such a big plaque cleared without stenting. So what is more important for us to stress to our patient is not medicines, but lifestyle measures, which includes nutritional intervention. So the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. My take-home messages are, take a detailed history, try counseling and therapy together. That's the first line of therapy in erectile dysfunction. It has been recommended because healthy lifestyle will reduce the pro-inflammatory milieu, reduce the insulin resistance, reduce oxidative stress, reduce the endothelial dysfunction, and produce improved well-being and reduce the burden of sexual dysfunctions. Make lifestyle as your religion. You may be Hindu, Muslim, but make this as your religion. All these diet, exercise, everything. We have all PDE5 inhibitors, but they do not increase the desire. They are not the desired drug. They are just the erectogenic drugs. And 40% of patients who take medicines are not responding to. So we need to give them testosterone, but we need to give it with caution. We can't give it to younger patients because of the fear of azoospermia. Elderly patients can get heart failure or prostate issue. So what is there to give us? We, the Raja of all is, we need to give L-arginine, fenugreek, and advice on lifestyle modification. So it's really nice to know that correcting metabolic syndrome with lifestyle modifications, erectile dysfunction can be a correctile dysfunctions. My book, Sex Has No Expiry Date, available on Amazon, has all the things which I've just mentioned. So my last slide, erectile dysfunction is very common in diabetics. In fact, every diabetic is a tip of an iceberg, is the earliest marker of coronary artery disease. It's also the endothelium dysfunction. I call it diabetes type 5. PD5 inhibitors, short course of testosterone are ideal. L-arginine supplement and fenugreek is a boon. A heart that loves is always young. Age, weight, height are just numbers. Lifestyle measures can reverse metabolic syndrome. Erectile dysfunction, hence, is a correctile dysfunction. And if so, sex really has no expiry date. Thank you all for your love. I'll be happy to answer any questions you all have.